Okay, chat, new interesting dev blog just dropped today. Defense Matrix removing cheaters from Overwatch 2. Defense Matrix activated. Season 12 is just around the corner tomorrow. Launching tomorrow on August 20th. You know what? I should just keep reading. We have exciting news in our efforts to stop disruptive and harmful play in Overwatch 2. Defense Matrix is our initiative that works to make Overwatch 2 a fun, safe, and fair competitive hero shooter that is inclusive for everyone. So let's jump into what's been happening and what we have in store coming in Season 12 and beyond. Cheaters are not heroes. Wow, I like that. Cheating is an ongoing problem in every skill-based game, and Overwatch 2 is no exception. Cheating is a premeditative behavior where a player deliberately intends to ruin the experience for others and is not tolerated in our community. Cheats like aimbots and wall hacks wreck the experience for all players. Our team has been hard at work to stop these hacks and mods that enable cheating, plus remove cheaters who take advantage of cheaters, which is a big part of it right here, because I don't know if it's going to get mentioned in here, but for some reason, the last few spectating cheaters I've done, I don't know if they probably haven't released on YouTube yet, because like we have a bit of a backlog at this point. There's just been so many. Most of the time they're actually grouped, and oh, it does get mentioned? Okay, good to know. I'll just finish my thought though. Basically what's been happening a lot is I've noticed that people are stacking with cheaters, and I think they're using, it's basically a boosting service. And so basically like really shitty, like bronze, silver, gold, like whatever players play in a stack with cheaters that are either good or not good at the game and boost them up higher ranks. Obviously those cheater accounts likely get banned because they're literally fucking spin botting, and like, you know, it doesn't get banned right away, which still a little bit questionable, but I'm assuming in the long run it gets banned. But their accounts might not, because they're not cheating. And so like they get boosted up while also taking advantage of the cheaters, and like there's like a whole underground business of that, and it's fucking wild. So today we're pleased to announce that we've banned over 500,000 accounts that have been found to be cheating, and we also suspended or banned over 40,000 accounts that intentionally group up with cheating accounts as well. See, that's kind of what I was getting at right here. The boosting thing goes a little bit deeper than that, but that's incredible that it's 40,000. That's a lot. But our work doesn't end with just identifying and removing cheaters. It's important to also take out hacks that enable cheats altogether. We're hard at work on new anti-cheat technologies and looking forward to stopping cheats in their tracks. As usual, we don't like to reveal details on what we are doing to make this happen. However, we hope by showing the efforts to remove 500,000 cheaters from the game shows that we've made great strides in stopping cheaters in their tracks, and we always continue to do so. Yeah, totally understandable. Fog of War cheating stuff is very important because you don't want to give them an advantage. There's like a really famous, at this point, really famous Thor Pirate Software short, because he used to work at Blizzard on their CS team. Basically talks about how like when they identify cheats, they wait for a couple updates before they smack it. And the point of doing that is if you wait like 6, 7, 8 updates, the cheating provider doesn't know which update is what got caught, so like it's harder for them to figure out where they went wrong, and also they get flooded by like thousands of people wanting refunds, and like it overwhelms them, and like there's a lot of things that happen at once. So like there's good reasons for doing that. Doesn't mean it doesn't suck balls for us as the player any less. Playing fair on consoles works. In Season 11, we launched full preventative measures to detect anyone on console that was using an unapproved peripheral to enable mouse and keyboard inputs on console pools, so zimming. While this led to banning thousands of the worst offenders who maliciously use these devices to climb competitive ranks in Season 10, players who attempt to use an unapproved peripheral will now lose access to competitive play and will be relegated to the PC input pool for all unranked game modes. No, I don't like this. You know what you should do instead? You should make it so they can only play against each other. That would be so much fucking funnier. So they get like 30-minute queues. That would be hilarious. This has greatly improved the quality of ranks play for those who play on console. So I've seen a lot of people come to my chat before and say like they bump into people that are zimming and it doesn't work. but I don't see it that often. And so you gotta sometimes take it with a grain of salt because like people don't understand things. Like, to give you a good example, I get a ton of spectating cheaters VODs submitted to me, and a lot of people are right. But holy the amount of people that are wrong and they think somebody's cheating, but they're just literally playing against somebody who's good. Like, they're just a Smurf account and they cannot tell the difference. Like, their cope goes fucking crazy. So it does, at least in my own personal opinion, from what I've seen, it looks like the Zim stuff is really getting cracked down on, which is good, but it's probably not perfect. And you'll probably still bump into a game where someone gets away with it for a few games before it gets picked up on. So that can happen too. Control your team experience. As mentioned in the recent Director's Take blog, our Avoid as Teammate feature is getting an update that will better enable all players to play with teammates that you can rely on. Starting in Season 12, you'll be able to add up to 15 players on your Avoid as Teammate list that will help tailor the match experience and keep you from being queued in the same team as someone you don't sync well with. You'll be able to order these players in order of preference from which players you absolutely don't want to play with versus those that you would rather avoid if you can help it. For those ranked below Grandmasters, you'll likely be able to avoid all 15 players on the list in every match. Those on the higher end of the competitive ranks, where there are fewer players available to match with, may still see some of your avoided players that are lower in priority, especially when your queue time gets longer. But don't worry, you'll be able to pin up to 3 players to absolutely avoid and keep your Avoid as Teammate list indefinitely. So here's my question. I haven't gotten the message in a very long time, but the message was, it pops up on your screen and says, you have been avoided by a large amount of players, like you may experience longer than normal queue times. What if you're somebody that gets pinned a lot? Like everybody, like lots of people pin you as their avoid. Does that mean every single day you sign in, you're gonna get the big Avoid as Teammate warning on the top of your screen? I'm not gonna lie, that's gotta fucking blow, dude. That's gotta suck. When your list is full and you want to avoid a new player, they will be added automatically to the top of the list of players who are not pinned, and the player who's at the bottom of the list will drop off. You can reset the timer anytime for a player to move them back up to the top of the list. Players who are not pinned will be taken off your Avoid as Teammate list after a total of 7 days. Optimizing in-match reporting. We have new details on improving the reporting and social features in-game to share. We're adding a new feature to the scoreboard where you can now directly regulate the text chat or voice chat of any of your teammates and opponents. You'll be able to directly mute the text chat or voice chat of any of your teammates and opponents yourself, plus adjust individual volumes for each player's voice. Finally! The year of 2024, we have individual sliders. Let's fucking go! Holy fucking shit. I feel like this has been something that people wanted for years, but it's not like a high priority thing. Thank fucking Christ, because nothing's worse than you have like the support player on your team that you can't fucking hear, and they're like, I need help. And you don't hear them over the thing, they die, and then they get mad, and they're like, why didn't you help me? It's like, dude, I can't hear you. Or the other dude who's fucking like max gain volume, fucking full hand into a bag of chips. And you're like, bro, can you right off, man? And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to mute him, but it's like, dude, like, shut up. You'll also have a quick 2-click button to file an instant report for any disruptive player in your match. These new features are tailored especially around console players to make it easy to quickly stop and find each action with just a few button presses while the match is in progress. Okay, so the reason for that is because like reports are more useful the closer they are reported to the incident. One of the big problems is because it requires like so many extra button clicks to report somebody, like it wasn't worth it because like you'd be mid-game sometimes. It sounds like they're trying to streamline that a little bit more, so that's good. Stay tuned to see these social and reporting features in an upcoming season or in a future season coming soon. Oh, so that's not next season. What? That's not season 12, it's soon? I don't want to put your job at risk. Is it soon or is it Blizzard soon? Don't have to answer the question. That's a hypothetical. Soon. Okay, I'll take your word for it. You've always been honest with us, Gavin. So I believe it's soon. Soon TM is Blizzard soon, by the way, if you don't understand the memes that are going on in chat right now. Update to Streamer Protect. Uh-oh. Knowing when you encounter a disruptive player is important because it can allow you to safeguard yourself by adjusting your social features to mute that disruptive player or warn your friends who may be playing with you. That player is like, wait, what? Did I just forget how to read? By adjusting your social features to mute that disruptive player or warn your friends who may be playing with you, that player is likely a problem. I think it says it's supposed to be a player is likely the problem, but okay, I get it, no problem. Maybe I just didn't read it right, but makes sense. We've heard feedback that players who like to cheat or are disruptive use our Streamer Protect tools to cover their own identity, making it difficult for players to quickly identify them if they encounter that player in a previous match. That's true. That is true, actually. A lot of the time, players who are disruptive or like to cheat are often on relatively newer accounts with very little playtime. Our Streamer Protect tools are intended for our long-standing players and content creators who don't want to be targeted by disruptive players to ruin their games. With this in mind, we will be restricting access to the Hide My Name feature of Streamer Protect for those who don't have Unrelenting Hero Challenge completed, which requires winning 1,750 games of Overwatch in any game mode. What? This change will empower our seasoned players to use the Stream Protect tool properly and not abuse it through the use of secondary accounts intended to cause disruption in games. That is like actually the most big-brained f*** you strat I've ever seen. Because like there's a few things that are problem. There's a few goods and there's a few bads. The bads is if you're a content creator that's not in the Overwatch space. You know, like let's say you come here for a sponsored segment, or like, I don't know, any streamer that's over, say, 5 to 10K CCV comes in to play Overwatch someday, right? If they come in and their account is their main account's name, their Twitch account's name, they will not be able to turn on the streamer mode protect and they're going to get fucking smoked, right? I think of a good example, maybe like Summit, right? So you guys saying Tim, but Tim played a lot of Overwatch over time, so he might actually have enough games like long standing. I think of like Summit, right? Summit comes in, right? His thing says Summit 1G and he wants to queue up a game. If he doesn't have 1,750 games, he can't get the stream protect. You're gonna get fucking smoked, right? That's a good point. We do have a plan for that. I would assume that you can flag accounts, especially if you do like sponsored streams. Peeling back the curtain a little bit, sponsor streams, kind of like the way those work is like a lot of big streamers have like agencies, and like those agencies work with companies to like work out whatever sponsor they end up doing, right? Like let's say like, I don't know, let's say I play Overwatch for 2 hours, right? It's like a sponsorship play Overwatch for 2 hours for X amount of money, right? Like they know I'm going to be playing it that day. They can just like probably ask for my whatever account I'm playing, and they can probably like be like, okay, like you can use the Stream Protect, and boom. And then that way over time, like they can kind of like build up a catalog. But on the flip side, that means that if you're a smaller streamer, like below that, and you're not a sponsored, you never have a sponsored segment, you won't be able to use it, which is definitely going to hurt a little bit. But there's also the benefit that if you're a smaller streamer, you're probably not going to have it happen that often, as long as you're not an Overwatch core creator. Because like even if you're a small Overwatch creator, like say like 2, 3, 4, 500 viewers, all the way up, even say like 1,000, right? If you're a core creator, most people in the community probably know you. If you're not in the Overwatch community though, and you come to Overwatch, there's a good chance they might not know you. It's kind of big brained. There's definitely potentially some problems and some issues I could see with this, but you know, I know that in Korea they were having a big problem with it, with a lot of people that were cheating. Because like, okay, Korea is an honorable region still, where if they detect a cheater in the game, they will draw the game. In NA, nobody gives a fuck anymore, and they just steal their free SR because like, I guess we're just fucking scumbags these days. There's no honor anymore. But anyways, but what was happening in Korea is they couldn't figure out who was cheating because of the stream mode protect, so they couldn't draw games. So I guess this kind of gets around that. Now, that means that they would have to because like cheaters sometimes purchase accounts to play on. That means there's a new threshold of purchasing accounts now, where like people are going to want to purchase accounts that have over 1,750 games played, which means that the pool of that amount of accounts that they have for sale is going to be smaller and smaller, which actually fights like that black market of people. So like, this is unironically kind of smart as fuck. Could definitely create some issues for sure, but this sounds like it'll be a good change, at least for core creators and also for core players. So didn't expect this, but sometimes out of nowhere, they come with like these like harebrained ideas that are insanely good. That is it for this Defense Matrix update. Stay tuned. There are more updates planned for future seasons. Please remember to continue to play fair and play nice, and always help support the best part of Overwatch 2, the community. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know about that part, man. I don't know about that part, but okay, dude. This is actually pretty good. Definitely cheating's still a big problem. Obviously, they're flexing some numbers here to say like they're still doing a lot, but obviously there needs to be much more to be done, obviously. Luckily, it's not as bad as it was at the end of last season, because the end of last season, legitimately, the game was unplayable for a little bit, for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's pretty cool. Anti-cheat stuff looks good. The console stuff looks good. Controlling your experience, we've already talked about that. In-match reporting is going to be a future thing, which sucks, and the stream protect. So, yeah, not going to lie, this was actually a pretty good one. I'm very surprised. So, seems good. Good stuff.